Hello and welcome back once again. It is time for another episode of the Culture Update, and I am bringing it to you as always. You know what it is, your girl Vanna here with you today. It is time for another update. There's so much that has literally been going on. There's so much that has been happening that we just got to get to the tea of it all and figure out what's really going down in the world and really get to the 100 of it. So I want to go ahead and give you guys an update. As you know, if you're followers and fans of the show, we here are Justice for Julius Jones fans over here. We do believe that Julius Jones will seek and see justice one day, and we have an update for you. So if you've been following the show or even following the case of Julius Jones and you've been aware of everything he's going through, this is a man that has been convicted of murder. He's been put behind bars, and he was actually put on death row for the murder of a man that he has maintained his innocence, that he did not commit this murder. So we're just going to jump right into it. This was last week. Just hours before Oklahoma had planned to execute Julius Jones, Governor Stitt stepped in at literally the last seconds of this man's life, commuting his sentence. Now, basically what this means is he is still alive and that he is not going to be executed, which we are thankful for and we're very happy about. But on the other hand of that, while we're glad that they did not kill this innocent man, on the other side of that is the fact that he's now facing a life sentence with no possibility of parole, and that came down with this commuted sentence. So it basically means even though he's not being executed, he may spend the rest of his life behind bars. And don't forget, this was not like he had a fair trial. This man did not have a fair trial. Whether you believe he's innocent, whether you believe he did this or not, at the end of the day, you have to be able to understand that he never received a fair trial to begin with. He had racist jurors. There was all types of craziness. His legal counsel was, I would say, lack thereof legal counsel, really. So there were so many things that stuck out about this case that just doesn't sit right. And he definitely, I mean, if all else fails, he definitely deserves a retrial, in my personal opinion. But so basically, what's going on now is the family is going to continue to fight. If you were able to catch any of the mainstream media over the weekend, you noticed that Antoinette Jones, Julius Jones' sister, she appeared on MSNBC on the Ari Melbourne show, and she actually did an interview with him and talked about how her family was so relieved that he was not executed. She believed, she had the faith in her heart that he would not be, and even scheduled a visit with him the following Sunday because she did not believe he would be executed. So the family is very relieved and very happy. However, there is still a fight, and she said so herself on that interview, talking about how they will be moving forward to see what possibilities there are for Julius to seek even more help and fight even further. Even though the governor has put forth no possibility of parole, the family is going to use any and every avenue within the legal system in order to look for an out of that, or look for a way around that, so he can possibly seek a parole in this situation. So it is just a crazy situation. We're so glad that Julius is still with us. But it is an unfortunate situation if an innocent man spends the rest of his life behind bars. So please drop me your comments. Tell me what you think about this situation. You can drop them in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe as well. And as always, we will keep you up to date on the Julius Jones case, coming right from Oklahoma. So you know what it is. We got to keep our ear to the street on that case, and we'll continue following and giving you updates along the way. All right, let's go ahead and get to it. You know what time it is. It's time for that entertainment news. And boy, it has been crazy. When it comes to the culture, when it comes to melanated folks, Black people, it seems like there's always something when it comes to mainstream media, when it comes to entertainment, and when it comes to some just questionable things happening. Well, this right here kind of triggered a question mark in my mind. I found out that the new movie that appeared on HBO Max, Dune, that was just released, came out with a dual poster. Now, this is not the only movie that this situation has happened in, but it's one that has brought up a lot of sparked a lot of debate and comment because it's happening again. Once again, we have another movie here where one poster is released in the United States and an opposite poster is released in China, and the one that's released in China doesn't no longer features the black author or the black actress or actor. So let me just give you a little bit of what's going on in this. Apparently there's been a lot of waves in the box office because of this movie, and rightfully so. It's a remake of an old classic. It's a really good movie. I watched it personally. I love the movie, and I love how they brought it into 2021 by adding these elements of darker skinned people, black people. We love seeing mixed cultures, even Asian people in the movie. We want to see a mix. We want to see ourselves represented, right? But there's some controversy here as well, because when it comes to Hollywood trying to get their viewers, they seem to try to skew little bits and pieces of things. So take a look over here on this side. On this side, you have basically a capture of the China poster premiere. And over here on this side, you have a capture of the one that came out in America. As you can see on the one that came out in America, to the far, I guess that would be maybe your right-hand side or maybe it's your left-hand side, you see the black girl. She was one of the mainer characters of the movie, not the main character, but one of the side main characters, I would say. So she played a pretty big role. But then when you flip it over here, you see she's no longer present anywhere on this poster, and she's been placed almost in the exact same place she was in. On this poster, you see they put the main character that was the Asian main character in the movie instead, which I can totally understand. If you're going to promote this movie in China, of course you would want to make your Asian characters forward in the poster. But why remove the black characters? You can't put the Asian man in the American poster and you can't put the black woman in the Asian poster. I mean, are we seriously trying to continue to divide and divide and divide? I get it, demographics, I get it, marketing, I get all those things. But at the end of the day, it's underlying racist and it's subliminal racism, and it's wrong. And it's horrible. And other movies have been known to hit the box office big when promoted in China with black actors, including Eddie Murphy and films like that. So it's like, no, they should just try it and see that it would be more popular than what they're assuming it would be. So this is wrong by all accounts. Tell me what you think about this. Like I said, this is not the only time Hollywood has done this. We have seen this on Star Wars movie poster covers that have come out. They do the exact same thing with the black Star Wars characters, take them out of the poster for China. But what do you think about this blatant, obvious racism? I want to know your comments. I just think it's horrible. Like, what execs are sitting around a room like, yeah, this is a great idea. Like, nobody's going to notice this. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Let's just take the black person out, put the Asian person in. Bam, we got it for China. We're good. Like, come on, it's about to be 2022 already. Like, let's cut that BS out. So drop your comments below. Tell me what you think. Are we sick of it, or are we sick of it? Because I think I'm over it. All right, moving on and moving forward. Man, this story is a rough one. And I just want to point out on this next story, a lot of people have been throwing Chrissy Teigen. I guess everyone hates Chrissy Teigen. And if you don't know who Chrissy Teigen is, John Legend's wife. And so whatever that tells you. So that's the reason why I'm bringing up this story today, is because John Legend and Chrissy Teigen decided to host a lavish, Squid Game themed party. And of course, the internet is not so thrilled. And when I first read this story, I noticed that they left John Legend's name out of the title of the story, but I was sure to add his name because it wasn't just Chrissy Teigen who threw this party. John knew all about it. He participated in it and he planned for it and he was there when it happened. It was at his house. This is his wife. Let's not just let John Legend off the hook just because he's Chrissy Teigen's husband and we can blame Chrissy Teigen for all her crazy shenanigans or whatever. So let's just break this story down real quick. This party was seriously planned, seriously lavish. We're talking multi-millions, just no budget spent. She decorated her entire house. As you can see, she's here dressed in the attire of the quote unquote baby doll that was shooting people with her eyes. In the first game, you can see the waiters of the party that were serving drinks were dressed up as the guards for the Squid Game. There was So much so that the people that they invited over even wore jumpsuits that matched the Squid Game outfits, as you can see here, and they even had the hanging ball of money in their house as well. So they took it to that extreme. She even went so far as to do the whole entire stair scene, that whole staircase scene in her actual house and her staircase. I mean, it was seriously a legit copy of the game. They could have literally done the movie set from her house the way she had it. Now, everybody's wondering, well, what's so wrong about this? Like, what's the problem? Like, it's a celebrity. What do you think? Like, if they have the money, they're going to do it. Because did you forget about the premise of the entire show? If you watch Squid Game, you know that the entire show is about the socioeconomic hierarchy of the entire system in where they live. I mean, these people are literally in debt. They are in millions of dollars in debt, hundreds of thousands of dollars in some cases, millions of dollars in some cases, and they're literally throwing their lives on the line in order to have money, and at a slim chance at that of getting this cash. So it is very, 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 very tasteless for her. I mean, we're literally talking about the lowest low poverty of people fighting for this money, and you're pretty much making fun of it because you're a huge millionaire and you can afford to completely reenact poor people risking their lives in order to get money. I mean, it's so sick. It just leaves a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And once again, here we are with rich people being so just blind and obviously just not understanding what is really going on. Like, how can you not understand? So onlookers and the internet went crazy on her. They literally handed her their peace of mind. They went on and on talking about how just not smart this was, just how kind of tasteless it was of her to do this. So I agree, it was insensitive. It was not cool at all. I would love to give her props for everything and say, wow, what a cool party. But at the end of the day, it's not worth it because you're literally making fun of everybody that's literally poor, and that's trashy. So once again, John Legend and Chrissy Teigen win the not so cool award for the day. And yeah, once again, they show and prove that they're Kim Kardashian and all of those others that do the exact same things all the time and not think about the plight of anybody else, and they only think about themselves. So unfortunately, that's what happened in this situation. So drop me your comments, tell me what you think about this situation. I want to know, why is John Legend letting Chrissy Teigen act like this? Like, seriously, I want to know. I'm like, bro, like, where are you at? Like, you saying we're just ordinary people? Like, what? That's the part that I don't get. So John Legend, you got some explaining to do. All right, let's move on to our final and last story for today. And man, I really wanted to get to the dirt of this story because I have got to talk about this issue. This is a widely known issue, and we're talking about Irv Gotti. Now, Irv Gotti is upset with Ashanti, super upset with Ashanti. He is now going to the media. He's claiming she's trying to F him on out of his masters, which are really her masters, but we'll get to that. So he's upset. He's saying she's trying to get the masters from him, his masters. And she's going about it a super smart way. And she's not the only artist to have done so. So get this, Ashanti's masters, who are owned by Irv Gotti, she can't get them back. She's not able to pay him out for them. And they're the masters to her music, her songs. So what she's going to do is she's going to do a re-release of her debut album just because she can, basically. So what artists pretty much do in this situation is, if someone else owns your masters, you do a re-release of that exact album, but you tweak a few things just enough to get by on the copyright. And then you put that album out, and if you're successful at it, like Taylor Swift was, you make millions. And not only do you make millions, but if you're like Taylor Swift, your second album, the re-release, it surpasses the very first album that you put out. And so you don't even need to worry about those masters anymore, because your re-release masters are through the roof. So that's exactly what Ashanti is planning on doing to Irv Gotti, and I say good for her. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about this story, because this is kind of crazy. So basically, once Ashanti re-records the album, she will own it. So everything purchased from that moment will now be hers. She will own it. So the thinking behind this ownership is key because don't forget, these are her songs. And a lot of times in music industry, you have this situation where, like, for instance, Michael Jackson owning the masters to the Beatles music and so on and so forth. So basically, in response, Irv Gotti, he basically made sure he shared a piece of his mind. He went on with Angie Martinez on Instagram comments, and he basically said that he produced those albums and he owns the publishing. And he would go on to say that Ashanti is, quote, trying to F him out of his masters. And he basically was really upset about the situation. And I can see why, because once she re records, it's all going to be hers again. It's not going to be his anymore. He, he produced really good Ashanti albums, but at the end of the day, those are her songs. He also owns a good portion of the publishing, and he went on to say that what she's trying to do is record all the great songs and put them out on her label. She can do this under cover laws, is what it's called, but she's basically trying to F me out of my masters and make people decide which album to listen to or stream, hoping her loyal fans will choose her version. So here you are again with this whole situation. He ended up going on to promote some other projects that he had coming under that as well. But it's just a situation of too bad. I mean, there's really nothing you could do about it in this situation. And not only that, but I feel like Irv Gotti has been making money off of Ashanti for a super long time. Like, I could understand if he like just bought her masters and he was just getting a flow on it, but it's like, bro, you've been making money off of her for so long. It's time to let her have her masters back. And if you won't sell them to her, then good for her for re-recording her master, just like Taylor Swift did. If Taylor Swift can do it, Ashanti can do it too, and any other women that are out there need to do it too. And really, and I didn't do any research on this, but Ashanti needs to look at her books and make sure she owns some J-Lo records too, because we know how many ghost albums Ashanti done sang for J-Lo, and we know that was not J-Lo on half the original songs. That was Ashanti's voice. So hopefully Ashanti's getting paid for that too, but Lord knows the whole music career, no telling who owns that. So what do you think about this whole situation? Do you think Irv Gotti is in the wrong for buying and owning all of Ashanti's masters in the first place? Do you think Ashanti is good for going and recording her album in order to get her masters back? What do you think? Drop me your comments. I want to know your opinion on this. And I mean, literally, just keep it real with me. Tell me what you think about this. I really seriously think good for her. I hope she's able to make hella money off of her new album of the re-recorded songs. I have some of her old collections of albums, and I thought that they're really good. So I might be purchasing that album myself. I'm not gonna lie. All right, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for the show today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, this show has been brought to you by the Culture Creators. As always, make sure you subscribe and like for the Culture Creators. Also, don't forget to tune in again. We're going to take a little break next week, but we'll be back after that. You all make sure you have a fun and safe Thanksgiving holiday, and we will catch you again on the flip side for another episode of the Culture Update. You know what it is. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Bye.